Welcome to SunnySpeaks. Here again with another review for you, and you. And today I'm going to talk about The Surfer, directed by Lorcan Finnegan and starring Nicolas Cage, Julian McMahon, Justin Rosniak, and many more. A former surfer played by Nicolas Cage revisits his childhood home in Australia with his son. Met with extreme hostility by the locals of the beach and dealing with trauma from his past, the surfer experiences death and rebirth, fighting to reclaim his old home. This is another Nicolas Cage in a weird scenario going crazy movie, like Wicker Man, but tries a lot harder in the psychological aspect to mess with you and our main character. How effective is this odd film? First, the surfer himself, Nicolas Cage. I never really disliked Nicolas Cage in movies, despite him consistently being over the top. With certain expectations like Dream Scenario from last year, which I've enjoyed more on rewatch. The character he plays in this film is extremely frustrating for me. The scenario he finds himself in is very isolating. What first seems like a group of delinquents messing with him grows into an entire town conspiring his demise. And I felt sympathy at first, but as the movie goes along, there are so many chances where the character could leave but chooses to stay and endure. And while understanding why he chooses that, I do think the cost of that choice is too great. I felt all this until halfway through the film when I just accepted that this main character is crazy. And once I did that, I think it allowed me to connect a lot more to the choices he was making and to look at the movie a lot more metaphorically than a literal linear story. When having that realization, it made Nicolas Cage's performance as the surfer a little more impactful. The character not having a name works, considering surfing seems more important to him than even his family or himself, and his obsession with the ocean and the waves is well depicted visually. Though still having the same magnetism that Nicolas Cage has in general, and everything he's asked to do in this role, he does well, I don't think he's a very memorable character. But I am glad to see this actor still bringing these performances in for how long he's been in the game. He's so ridiculous and bonkers in this movie, but in many other movies he's been in, and I think it's going to be a sad day whenever we don't see that as much. So regardless of me not feeling like this character is that interesting, I am glad to see a Nicolas Cage performance where he's able to do his Cage-isms. The character that my eyes were drawn to the most and brought out the best of our main character is Scally, played by Julian McMahon. Our villain, if you want to call him that. Scally is the leader and sort of father figure for this group of local surfers who continue to try to intimidate our main character and force him to leave. Despite Scally being the leader of this group, he is the only one who gives the surfer any sort of compassion, but it is always coupled with pity or disdain. McMahon's performance I thought was really intriguing. He's basically playing a cult leader, and I think he does it well. From the first time you see him, you can tell he's the worst of all of these aggressive Aussie surfers. But he greets everyone with a smile and has his people do his dirty work for him. The dynamic between Scally and the surfer I thought was interesting because there seems to be a lot of history between them that isn't ever explored in this film. But the way they talked to each other made you feel their history and the tension between them. Probably my favorite performance in the film. The surfer interacts with many other characters in this story, but just like Beau is Afraid, a film I would definitely compare this one to, a lot of it feels like they are there and then gone, which lessens the impact a lot. This one being even less effective because the film is shot only in one area, so the same characters are yelling, scaring, or insulting our main character, but they all kind of blend together because they don't have any individual characterization that makes them feel memorable or unique. I will shout out Justin Rosniak though, because he was in a Australian show I watched recently called Mr. Inbetween, and I like what he brings to the screen personally. The cinematographer of this film, I didn't look up how to say his name before recording, and I'm not going to try to butcher it. The visual presentation of this is the best part of the experience for me. I think he captures Australia just as beautiful as it is terrifying. From the beautiful waves on the beach to the reptiles, rats, and arachnids that occupy the same spaces. I really like the color grade in this as well, and as the surfer starts to become dehydrated, the sun gets brighter and brighter, which creates an interesting atmosphere to follow our main character through. and also creates a stronger threat as he loses more resources. The psychological thriller elements in this film, I would say, are effective. Many times while watching, I was very uncomfortable or was anxious, wanting to yell at the main character, and I think that is purposeful. The ways the movie slowly destroys the surfer creates an isolating experience for the character and the audience that is difficult to sit through. I wouldn't say as tough as a Ari Aster film, but still props for making me uncomfortable, especially certain things that the surfer chooses to eat and drink when he has no other options. It is very, very gross, to say the least. Overall, I would give The Surfer a cloudy rating. Though enjoying the film, I don't think I'd ever watch it again. I started to build a theory in my head of what was going on in the story halfway through that started to make the journey a little bit easier for me, but by the end, the movie leaves you with more questions than answers. And honestly, the questions they pose aren't that interesting to me. If you're a fan of Beau is Afraid, or what I would like to call cringe horror, then I think you'd enjoy this. Just don't expect anything groundbreaking or even slightly inventive in its approach, other than just the environment of Australia, which I do think they use very well. If you are interested in seeing it, hopefully me saying all this lowers your expectations, so when you do see it, you'll leave pleasantly surprised. This has been my review of The Surfer. If you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comments down below, because perspective is key. If you haven't seen it, let me know if this review makes you want to go see the movie or not. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I'll be back again, and peace.